Hi. So we're going to talk about a basic shape, and that's a basic shape of box. Now we've been drawing a book, which is basically a box. We have our different sides, side and side, and our top here. So basically, we're going to treat this as a basic shape. And like hopefully I've already said, we're going to take basic shapes and try to find them in other objects to give us something, to give us a technique to sort of hang on to as we try to analyze them. But let's just look at drawing a box. Okay, so in drawing a box, we basically have 9 lines that sort of define the box. Oh, yeah, first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we can see 3 sides of our box. 1, 2, and 3. We don't want to see just one side of the box, let's say like this, or 2 sides, or even just one side. Because what we want to give, there's 2, there's 1. What we want to give is the best illusion of depth that we can. Remember, we're working with a flat surface. So there's only so much we can do when you get right down to it. So what we want to remember is that we want to give as much information as we can. So what we're going to do is we're going to show our box with 3 sides. So what we have with our box is 9 lines. We have our front corner. Let's just look at our corners first. We have our front corner. Right now we got our left-hand corner and our right-hand corner right here. And then we have a series of lines that come off of that define our box. Here at the bottom, here at the top, here at the bottom, here at the top, and then these ones in the back. Back here, and back here. Okay, so we have 9 lines. All right, now let's talk about drawing those lines and what we really need to think about. So I'm going to pull my little easel in front here. There we go. Now what we want to do is we want to start, I'm going to go back and forth. Oops, excuse my squeaking. So we're going to start with the front corner right here. It's the closest to us, and we're going to use this as kind of our, our starting point whenever we're drawing a box. Oops. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to draw our front corner right here. Okay? Piece of cake. All right. Next, what we're going to look at, excuse the squeaking, we're going to look at our first sort of angled lines. Here and here. Okay? So we'll look at our bottom corner, coming off our bottom corner here. We have angled lines coming off here and here. Okay. So bring our drawing in front here again. So push this back just a teeny bit so we can see a little bit better. I'm gonna adjust my easel. Tripod here a little bit. There we go. So we've got this line coming out here. And this line coming out here. Okay, so we got those lines. All right, now come back here, look at our book. Now our next set of lines we want to look at are the lines that angle off our front corner from the top, from here and here. Now the thing you'll notice is that I'm drawing lines from what I've already drawn. So I've already drawn my front corner, and I'm drawing the lines that come off the front corner. What I don't want to do is, let's say, draw this front corner and then draw this corner over here, because then I'll have to be estimating this distance and the angles and all this kind of stuff. It's always better to draw from what you've already drawn, because you're sort of building on one thing on top of the other. Same thing, you're building a brick wall. You've got a brick, you put another brick on top. You don't put 3 bricks on top because it would fall over. We're not working in actually the same sense of physics, but you kind of get the idea. So we're going to draw this line here. draw these out just a little bit farther. And this line here. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit awkward, so they're a little messy, but you know what? This is sketching, and that's what it's about. All right. Okay, so we're back here. Now, the next things we want to do is drawing off of the lines we already have, is let's put in our corners here. This one and this one, okay? Back support of my easel keeps going away. All right, so I'm a little bit close to my clip of my clipboard here, so there we go. And over here, make sure we can see everything. It's not very parallel, or it's not very up and down. A little messy. And this one here, there we go. All right. Now our two most challenging, oh, come on, focus, come on, focus, come on. There we go. Our two most challenging lines tend to be these two lines in the back that kind of go back and crisscross up here, okay? We'll get into a little bit more about why they're challenging, but for right now, let's draw them just the best we can. So, I like the way that came out. I'm going to redraw that a little bit. Drew it kind of lightly. I'm not going to erase right now, just to kind of keep us going there. All right, so I've got that one. And it's okay to draw lines farther than where you think they're going to go, because in the end, you can always erase. It's not meant to be perfect right off. Okay, so here's our box right there, okay? Now, let's talk about analyzing a box. Now, what we talked about, we have our 9 lines, right? But what we also have is we have 3 sets of 3 parallel lines, okay? So when we look at our book here, sorry, squeaky, squeaky. Let's start with the easy ones first. Our corners. We have, oops, there we go, 1, 2, and 3, okay? So I'm going to go here, and let's just label, oh, by the way, I would like you to be drawing along with me, please. So if you haven't been, maybe start over again and just draw along with me, because that's going to be so much easier to sort of retain the information, because we're going to be applying this over and over again. So I'm going to mark these all A, because they're parallel to each other. All right. Now, let's go back out here to our book, which will come into focus soon. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. So let's look at our next set of lines that are parallel to each other. This line, and this line in the back. Those are all parallel to each other, okay? So what we're going to do is let's mark those with a B, okay? B. Oops. Oh, that was terrible. There we go. B, B, and up here. B. Now, you've probably guessed, as you're drawing along, please be drawing along. Come on, focus. Come on, focus. There we go. These next lines will be also parallel. On the bottom right here, on the top right here, and on the back right here. So let's mark those as C, okay? That way we can keep and understand our grouping. Our groupings. Oops, come on. Come back into focus, please. Come back into focus. There we go. Sorry if that's been out of focus before. I didn't notice it. So we got C, C, and C. Now, you may notice when you look at your drawing and you look at your book that those lines are not perfectly symmetrical. That's because of the viewpoint we're looking at them. Or, sorry, perfectly parallel. But we will talk a little bit about that. But for right now, it's just something to think about. We're not necessarily drawing them as parallel. We know the object that they are parallel. And but we're going to talk more about that and really how to sort of understand what they're doing. But for right now, we want to know that they're parallel, because that's gonna come up in terms of how we need to categorize these lines. I know that sounds a little cryptic, but it will be so clear before. All right, thanks.